Hello and welcome to the Rhubarb Room. My name is Thomas, and tonight you are joining me for episode 5 of Jujutsu Kaisen, or at least that is what I would normally be saying if, the audio hadn't messed up or basically failed to record. This is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be kind of like a recap / review. I'm not sure really what to call it yet. But, so I already watched this about 2 days ago when it came out. And like I usually do, went up to record it. And, basically the audio didn't record. So, that was just 30 minutes of me looking like I'm miming for, 30 minutes. But, I thought we'll do this. I've still wanted to get this out, so to put it in the playlist. So it's something for episode 5. And I thought it was a really good episode just to start off with. It was really nice continuing from the last episode. But before we do kind of see what happened on, or get into what happened on episode 5, basically I want to go back to episode 3, where again it says about the cursed womb, and it kind of predicted that one of the students was going to die. Basically it was like, one of these students is going to die, and it was kind of like, well, who's going to die? Is this back in time? Because I doubt they would kill off one of our students. But this was set in the present. And obviously last episode, in episode 4, we had Sukuna basically taking on the S-Class curse and just beating his ass, really. He was just beating that S-Class's ass. And it was kind of crazy to kind of see that Sukuna is in the same class as that S-Class, because the difference was just night and day in terms of their power. But then obviously at the end we had that creepy smile where Sukuna was just kind of in control of Itadori's body, because Itadori didn't switch back or couldn't switch back. And I kind of feel like I know why, or potentially why, is because he used that curse, the energy attack, for the first time. So maybe that kind of took it out of him. But also I can kind of see how, losing one of your hands and, having most of your other hand burnt off could affect you mentally. And maybe he just needs a break. So that's kind of understandable. But, getting into this episode, we had Fushiguro kind of sensed that the battle was over, but then Sukuna just appeared out of nowhere behind him. And, Fushiguro knew that something was definitely wrong when Itadori couldn't switch. But already we can kind of see that Itadori's had an effect on Fushiguro, because he was willing to kind of try take on Sukuna, even though he knew he couldn't win, which I don't think he would have done that before he met Itadori. But then Sukuna did something which I absolutely loved, because it makes him a good kind of character or villain, really, because he is kind of a villain in a way. But he was kind of worried that if Itadori kind of got back in control, obviously he would stop him from killing Fushiguro. So Sukuna just kind of, took matters into his own hands and literally grabbed, took Itadori's hand and literally just plunged it into his chest and ripped out his heart, as you probably saw when you watched it. But that was pretty, I was not expecting that. It was pretty gruesome, just literally ripping it out his chest. And throwing it on the ground and literally saying, now he can't switch. That was interesting. So basically, if Itadori switched, he would die instantly. And Sukuna didn't really care, because obviously his spirit is in all the other fingers that they haven't found yet. So it didn't really mean much to him in a way. Which I absolutely love, because it just put Fushiguro in a position where he can't really do anything, really. He just has to try to defeat Sukuna. But then that would also mean taking out his friends. So I really like the position Sukuna put Fushiguro in. But then we had, they started to fight. And Sukuna was kind of interested in Fushiguro's powers. I think it was, he said you use Shikigami, I think I'm close, but I don't think that's exactly what it's called. Sukuna was interested that Fushiguro could make curses come out of the shadows and use them to fight for him. So he was kind of pulling his punches in a way. But at the same time, he was just like he was beating the S classes as he was beating Fushiguro's ass as well. And I should also mention that he did eat another finger, so he probably did power up a little bit, but then at the same time, Fushiguro did say without a heart, yes, he can survive, but it probably does take a little bit out of him as well. So maybe he wasn't quite as powerful as he could have been. But anyway, they have this pretty cool fight where Sukuna's pretty much got the upper hand at every single turn, really. And then Fushiguro, near the end of their fight, kind of goes to use this move where it looks like he's going to use his life energy. So probably getting a pretty crazy power up, but taking years off his life, or months, or however long it would take off his life. But then kind of Itadori regains control and actually just starts speaking normally for like a good couple of seconds, where he says a good few sentences before he actually just collapses from a lack of having a heart, which is like a few blocks down the street. But he basically says to Fushiguro to live life without regrets, I think, and then just collapses on the floor. So yeah, that kind of sat with Fushiguro and kind of shocked him a little bit. That he'd kind of lost I'm assuming, the only friend he had really made, even though we kind of saw a little flashback of a woman that looked like she had died. So I don't know if it was a friend or his mother or his sister. Let me know if we actually did find out or if I just missed it. But we might even find out in another episode. So yeah, the prediction at episode 3, or them basically saying that a student was going to die, was true. And Itadori did die, or he's technically dead, but I assume he's going to come back. Because yeah, it would be crazy for them just to take out a main character in episode 5, even though, yeah, it would be pretty cool, but yeah, it would be a bit different. I don't think it would work taking out the main character in episode 5. But then we had, what did we have next? Oh, we had this villain, which initially I thought was a third-year student. And he was walking around with some curses that other people couldn't see. And yeah, he looks like he's going to be the main villain, I think, because he was basically telling the curses how to take down the Jujutsu organization, basically. And the plan was to incapacitate Sensei, because he's apparently the strongest fighter, and then try to get Itadori and Sukuna on their side, even though they're kind of dead, but he already knew that he wasn't technically dead, if that makes sense. So yeah, I don't know how he knows this stuff. He must have been in the vicinity, or maybe he's part of the Jujutsu organization itself, maybe higher up. I guess we'll find out in further episodes. But then also we saw Sensei kind of get a little bit upset that he saw Itadori dead, because at the start you didn't really think he cared that much, but yeah, he has kind of grown to like him a little bit, I think, because basically he said that he was going to, should he kill all the higher-ups, basically, so he has to be, like Itadori quite a bit to basically threaten to do that. But then we had Fushiguro and our main female lead. Yes, I know, I still haven't remembered her name. I will try to remember it, I promise. They were kind of upset that Itadori had died, and she was trying to, play it off that, I only knew him for a week or two, but, she had grown attached to him as well, and she was holding back the tears. And then we had 3 second-year students show up, and the female second-year student was just like, oh, come on, don't be so glum and gloomy. And yeah, she was coming off as a real bitch, to be honest. But then we were finally introduced to Panda Senpai. And yeah, he's amazing. I love him. He's best character already. He's just amazing. But yeah, he was basically telling this other second year student that Itadori had died and everything. And then she felt super bad, and she was saying, oh, they must think I'm terrible and everything. And then there was also the other one that could only speak in the ingredients of rice, I think. Or rice balls, which... That is weird, isn't it? Is it not weird? I feel like that is weird. Like, why? How would you ever get to that point where you can only speak words that are in a recipe? That is just weird, right? I'm not the only one. That is weird. It is, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, to be fair, having a panda in the show is pretty weird as well. That talks and everything, because I'm pretty sure his only power is being a panda. So we'll see how strong he actually is. But then we also get a little moment where we're going to have a tournament arc, it seems like. So yeah, that'll be fun. It seems like the sister school in Kyoto basically holds an event, and you go in a 3-man squad, which is convenient because hopefully Itadori will be revived, and he's not actually dead. But yeah, you have 3-man teams because you have squad battles, and then you do individual battles. So that should be pretty fun, actually. Looking forward to seeing like other students at Jujutsu schools and see what they can do and everything. And then we kind of had a moment where they started smelling the panda. They started smelling Panda Senpai because they could smell this smell, but then he was saying he can't smell because he doesn't sweat and he Febrezes every day. So he basically just sprays himself with Febreze. And yeah, then they all started smelling him, and it was pretty funny, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty funny. They just started to sniff him, and yeah, it was a pretty funny joke. But yeah, I'm not sure that had any relevance to the story or anything. It was just funny. But then to end it, we did go back to Itadori on the table in the morgue, and it kind of went inside of him, like inside his soul, and he's kind of with an audience with Sukuna, so they're one-on-one, and I'm not sure what he's going to do. I'm guessing he's going to possibly offer him a deal, maybe, to bring him back to life, to heal him. So, I don't know what that could be, really. Maybe like, hey, if you bring me back, you can have like an hour a day to do what you want or something. Maybe something like that. But as far as going forward in the next episode, I reckon Itadori is going to be revived because they work something out, him and Sukuna. And we're going to find out more information on that Kyoto school and possibly the event, the tournament. And yeah, find out more about the other characters, the second year students, including Panda Senpai. So that is very important. And also potentially see more of the potential villain of the show, with the guy with that walks around with the curses. But as far as what's going to happen past that, I'm not really too sure. I think a few episodes after that we'll probably have a tournament arc, basically, and see some pretty cool fights and great animation, hopefully. And hopefully maybe find a few more of Sukuna's fingers. But I think that's going to be all for me today. Sorry if this was just a massive long, like, I don't know, rant, or not rant, but just a massively long talking video. Hopefully there was some footage in there to kind of, help you understand what parts I was talking about and just kind of help recap it, and yeah, it's just my thoughts on it, basically. I thought it was a really good episode. I know this was different again, just because I didn't have the audio for the footage, and I wasn't going to rewatch the episode just because, I mean, that would be stupid, just to rewatch it and pretend that it's my first time seeing it. So I wouldn't do that. But yeah, if you did like it, maybe do consider leaving a like, and maybe let me know if you want to see more videos like this. It could be good potentially to get past some copyright issues if there's some of those in the future. And also, if you are new and you kind of ended up enjoying this, maybe do consider subscribing and hitting the bell to be notified of when new videos come out. But I think that's going to be all from me. So goodbye and ciao ciao.